Hello, everybody. Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest. Ryker, the Toronto Raptors have had some really amazing players come in throughout the franchise, some during the peaks of their career, some during the twilights or the early beginnings, like Hakeem and T-Mac and these guys. But today, you and I are picking a team to go up against one another to see who's the better roster, who's the better roster that we can create. We don't know the teams that each other's pick, so we might have picked the same roster or something different. We're going to pick a top five and then maybe round out the bench. So we're breaking down the best roster we can possibly make out of players in their Toronto Raptors tenures, seasons with the team. So Hakeem can't be picked for one of his Rockets years because he was on the Raptors in his twilight season. Ryker, are you ready for this sort of draft team creation that we're about to do?
Sure. Yeah, I'm confident that my team will win. I think I can logic my way out of this one.
Yep. So we want you guys to sound off in the comment section below which team you think is better. So who's the best team? So I think we'll start off with the point guard position. I'd be surprised if we differ here. I'm going Kyle Lowry.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you can just list all your five if you want.
Okay. I'm going Kyle Lowry at the 1. I'm going Vince Carter at the 2. So Kyle Lowry, 2016 Kyle Lowry, peak prime. Vince Carter in 2000-2001, that season they made the Eastern Conference semis. Kawhi Leonard's championship season with the Toronto Raptors, he's running my 3. Pascal Siakam this year is running my 4. And Chris Bosh in 2009 is running the center position. Thinking about it, I was shocked DeMar DeRozan did not make this starting roster. I had to throw Pascal in there, but I think this is the best 5 that we can create out of Toronto Raptors history.
Okay, but who would your 6th man be?
My sixth man, yeah, I just list off the starters to start. DeMar DeRozan would be my 6th man.
DeMar is your 6. Okay, same team, but I suspected that that's who you were going to put in there. And I had initially had Pascal Siakam in the mix, and I thought you're also going to have Pascal Siakam in the mix. There's only one way you can defeat that team because really Pascal as an A1 guy, he's underproven, right? But on this particular team, on this manifestation of great all-time Toronto Raptors, he's probably going to end up being the 5th option, right? And if you limit his ability into becoming the 5th guy, you have to eventually turn him into a spacing player, and he's going to have to stroke that 3. And really at that point, he becomes basically a guy that you're able to slack off of and put more attention on the other 4 players that command, respectfully so, a lot of their time. So I switched out. I put Bosh at the 4. He's going to stack up against Siakam on your team, or I guess himself, Chris Bosh. And I slipped in Marc Gasol onto the 5 because as is, if we're just talking about who's going to be the 5th best player on an all-time Raptors team, because really our bigs is the one lacking place that we don't have this, amazing Hall of Famer yet as a center, you can put Marc Gasol. He's able to offer you more as a fit. That's basically his role on the Raptors. Amazing passer, spacer, defender in the paint, and he doesn't even really need to play games with Pascal Siakam, Ben. And my 6th man, I'm going with one of the top 3 6 mans of all time in the history of the NBA, Lou Williams, because he gave us one fantastic fiery season for the Toronto Raptors, Ben, where he averaged the numbers he always does and won 6th man. Listen, you have an amazing defensive squad. Both of our top 5s are amazing defensive squads. You can easily put in a guy like Lou Williams. You lose a little bit of D, but you add in a lot of offensive firepower.
You're putting Lou Williams as your 6th. I was a bit shocked with the Marc Gasol, but I was waiting. But you're putting Lou Williams as a 6th man over DeMar DeRozan.
Easily 100%, because Lou Williams can hit the 3. He offers you just as much defense as DeMar DeRozan does.
No, he doesn't.
And he doesn't rely on a post-up game. He actually has.
Tiny.
He has what?
He's tiny.
Yeah, we run a tandem 1 and 2 with Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry and won a championship with it.
But Fred is a
the
bully.
Golden State
He's
Warriors.
Strong. He can stay in front of people. Lou Williams is not equal to DeMar DeRozan on defense.
Listen, he 100. When on earth have you ever known DeMar DeRozan for his defensive capabilities?
He was not a lockdown guy, but he was at least the size of the players he was going up against, so you could get blocks, you can get in people's way.
Again, you are asking for time and time again. You're asking for your sixth man to be an offensive spark plug. You're not asking for your sixth man to be the defensive stopper off the bench. I hands down, if you want an instant bucket, I'm calling Lou Williams to the plate before I'm calling DeMar DeRozan, because DeMar DeRozan, you're gonna have to throw him down to the post in order to get those numbers, because the ball has to run through him. But Lou Williams' purpose is just to be a guy that shoots. He's just a shooter. That's it.
Riker, so you don't have Siakam or DeMar DeRozan in your top 6?
No, because I'm making a team that I think will beat your team. That's why we talked. What are we saying? Best, greatest, or the best team? I think that this
is a 1v1 matchup between you
if I'm running a team through the playoffs, I'm putting Lou Williams as my sixth man.
Okay, so I'm
putting Gasol as my 5 because I'm telling you, as the 5th option on a team, Pascal Siakam is not as valuable as Marc Gasol because Pascal Siakam is way better the higher up he gets in terms, or the more minutes that he gets with the ball in his hand. But on this amazing roster, he's not going to be that guy.
Okay, all right, I'm going to start breaking this down. So my roster, my starters of Kawhi, Vince, Lowry, Siakam, and Chris Bosh. So Kawhi and Vince are obviously our 1A, 1B. They're my team's bucket getters. Kawhi is obviously going to be locking down the player on the other squad. So who do you have a similar
Himself.
sort of wing duo. So these sort of cancel each other out for my squad. But you have Chris Bosh as a third option, and he'd be my sort of third scoring option as well. And fair enough that they're going to negate each other in the starting lineup. Kyle Lowry is going to be facilitating both roster sides, so this all makes sense. But what you're kind of addressing here is when you brought up the point of Pascal Siakam, you're going to look to sag off him. You're going to look for him as the 5th option and to negate. Pascal Siakam is going to provide so much more value to my team as the 5th man, as a guy that if Chris Paul, all the players, they're going to negate each other, right? All these other guys are going to start negating each other. Marc Gasol will not be able to guard Siakam in space, and we're talking about this year's Siakam. This year's Siakam, although his 3-point percentage was like 1% down from last year, he's shooting at a volume of 6 threes per game. That means he's hitting shots that are like contested dribble pull-up, almost fadeaway threes this season. And if he's getting the open looks that he was getting last year, there's no doubt in my mind the looks he'd be getting on a roster with Kyle Lowry, Vince, Kawhi, and Chris Bosh, he'll be getting completely open, naked threes. And Marc Gasol isn't going to be able to rotate out to that like Siakam will be able to rotate out to him. So that's just a 5th option that's just going to completely eat. And then the 6th man, DeMar DeRozan, coming in against coming in against any of these guys. He's going to eat up Vince Carter, Lou Williams. He's obviously not going to eat up Kawhi, but Kawhi will sort of negate each other. DeMar DeRozan off the bench. Lou Williams wouldn't guard
DeMar DeRozan.
Who's Lou Williams guarding?
He's going to guard Kyle Lowry, and Kyle Lowry shifting up to guard DeMar DeRozan.
Prime 2016 Kyle Lowry is scoring 500 points a game against Lou Williams. He's just bullying. He's bullying that guy down low. 2016 Kyle Lowry.
That's not what Kyle Lowry does.
2016
Kyle Lowry does not bully a player one-on-one. He bullies a player by beating them. He bullies a player by beating them off of a pick and roll, and so it doesn't matter who switches
off the dribble
when he gets
doing that little hezzy cross.
How does that have
Lowry plays bench unit?
To do with it
22.4 points per game, 7 assists, 5 rebounds.
Yeah, and Lou Williams averages 20 points per game on the Clippers right now because he's literally.
We're talking Raptors, Lou Williams though.
Yeah, he averaged 15.5 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
He was 6th man of the year, Ben. He was the best 6th man in the NBA.
But what happened? We're talking a playoff run. What happened to Lou Williams during that playoff run, Riker? What did he do against the Wizards? What did he do? Yeah, nothing. Okay. He couldn't guard anything. He couldn't guard a you or I.
The rest of our team was defensively weak. We did not have a good Raptors roster that season in terms of defensive acumen. Now you're adding him as a complementary piece to the likes of everybody that we've already listed. You're able to,
but he's still going to have to guard a star. He's going to have to guard a star guard. I apologize if I'm cutting you off. My headphones.
You're putting him on 3B. You already said it. You already said it. Kyle Lowry is your 3B option. You have a 1A, a 2A, and then a 3B. Kyle Lowry is your 3B option. And what does he do when he's that option? He's a 3-point shooter. And I'm sorry, but Lou Williams is able to guard one-on-one somebody who's the same height as him. Even if he takes him off the dribble, that has nothing to do with size. It's only if he starts backing him down the post. But you rely on your rotation defense at that point. You're allowed to have one defensive liability on the team.
Yeah, but if you have, but not if you're going
roster.
up against 5 all-time scorers. Not if you're going up against a team
Pascal
that
Siakam is not an all-time scorer.
He averaged 24 points per game
this season.
Yeah, I'm talking this season. Pascal Siakam
as a first option, as a number 1 option. Ben.
Yeah, but if there are
what
other
were
players,
his stats when he was the 3rd option on the team?
But the
what
other
were his stats as the 5th option. And again, this is hard because now we're bringing it right back to his rookie.
But then we're talking about skill sets, and we're talking about skill sets and all that sort of stuff. But Pascal Siakam, if everyone else is negating each other, and we need to,
but they're not
feast on
negating each other because you're assuming that because they're the same person that they don't it's negated. That's not a fact. Because Vince Carter, guarantee you he's going to be better in offense than defense, and if he's guarding himself, he's still going to score on himself. So they're not all, if Vince Carter is guarding Vince Carter, he's not just going to pass it to Siakam because it's the same person. He's going to be better than himself on offense than his defensive ability.
Well, then the true variance in our teams are coming from the guys that we have on the court. And when we give the ball to those players, Siakam and DeMar DeRozan are going to be way more productive. It's a small ball unit. We're going to be able to run the floor quickly.
That? How can you say Siakam and DeMar DeRozan are going to be way more productive? DeMar DeRozan, the ball needs to flow through him to score. He needs to be in the post. He needs to set up the offense. Lou Williams doesn't require that. Even if I had no 6-man and you put in DeMar DeRozan,
the ball needs to flow through.
You've instantly made
Williams.
That team worse. You've made that team worse.
Lou Williams is just a worse DeMar.
Offense.
Lou Williams is just a worse DeMar in every aspect besides
so
3-point shooting.
Incredibly false, Ben. If we look at what DeMar DeRozan is doing right now in the San Antonio Spurs, that is so ridiculously false. Because on way less minutes and way better efficiency, Lou Williams is scoring the same amount that DeMar DeRozan is as a starter.
But we're talking prime DeMar DeRozan here, and DeMar is still shooting
He's
pretty
only
efficiently.
a year out. His prime was his last season. He was averaging his best assist numbers, his best rebound numbers.
2016, 2017, 27 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 4 assists.
And who was the next best scorer on that team, right? The 3rd best scorer. Now you're probably right down into, I don't know, 9 points per game, 10 points per game.
But Ryker,
these are guys, Pascal Siakam, DeMar DeRozan, they're guys that need to be the number 1 or number 2 option in order to be effective. I put in purposely players that are able to fit in their role better than at the 5th spot and at the 6th man than I knew you would select. That's the reason I constructed my team. But I'm not going to argue Lou Williams is number 6 best player ever play on the Raptors. I'm saying as a team that I'm going to face off in a playoff series against, I would prefer my team than your team.
Lou Williams, not even like a Damian Stoudemire. Lou Williams. Okay, so we have a similar sort of team here. I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to put both of us on the spot. If you had to add 2 more players to the team, who would you add?
Yeah, well then I'm adding at that point Damon Stoudemire and I'm adding Siakam, definitely.
Damian, so still no DeMar.
No. I'm not adding DeMar. Dude, DeMar, because we're still competing against each other. DeMar has to be the number 1 guy, man. He's a mid-range only player. He has limited 3-point shooting ability as a shooting guard. And he has limited defensive abilities. So he's useless to me on a team that I'm facing against amazing, incredible talent.
Oh my goodness.
You can't play him as a 5th man.
Okay, so you're adding Damon.
And I might swap, just to upset you, I might even swap Damon Stoudemire for Jose Calderon because I might want playmaking. But I don't know. It's a game-time decision as the coach. Because Jose, he's on my 12-man rotation. So it's either Damon or Jose. Depends on if I need playmaking.
What happened to your team's defense?
I'm only putting
Jose
one
Calderon.
at a time.
I love Jose. This is not a slander on Jose because that man's is a goat. But oh my goodness.
Well, if you look at back, Stoudemire had more assists average on Toronto Raptors. So yeah, I just look at all-time assist leader. He's got playmaking ability. But if I'm thinking, what's my 8-man? I'm adding in Damon. I'm adding in Pascal Siakam, definitely.
You're adding in Damon and Pascal Siakam. Okay, I'm adding a Serge Ibaka up front, down low in the paint. How hungry are you, mans? Ready to feast. I got DeMar off the bench. I was debating Damon. I've been debating Damon here, but I think I'm gonna go Fred. Fred just
go Fred.
The defense, his ability. He's a Finals MVP vote getter. He's just a guy that will come in and be effective, be a threat. I was thinking Terrence Ross too. Just
I don't know, man.
Just
you want
a
your team
piece.
to guaranteed lose to me, just on turnovers. Then you can certainly turnovers and half-court shots.
I'm picking Terrence Ross just from that 51-point game. Just from that night, he's on my squad.
Yeah, well, listen, he honestly might be a better choice for you as your sixth man if you're picking 51-point Terrence Ross than any version of DeMar DeRozan, because at least Terrence Ross wasn't the number one option when he put up those points.
Oh my goodness, Riker. Sound off on this man in the comment section below. He doesn't have DeMar DeRozan in his top 8 not obviously best of all time, like greatest Raptors, but top 8 squad. I find that blasphemous.
To win a series specifically against the team that you've constructed of other Raptors players. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah.
If
we're playing 1v1.
That's the reason for this formation.
Yeah, if we're in the finals against each other. I get your logic, but like it just doesn't make sense to me.
Because if I'm playing against even like the Kobe Shaq Lakers, I'd probably pick a different team again because you want maybe a little bit more size, or maybe you want to go small ball against that team. You got to play to your competitor, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that like I see your logic, but I just disagree. But we'll let the listeners decide. We'll state our teams one last time so people know to sound off in the comment section below. I have Kyle Lowry, Vince Carter, Kawhi Leonard, Pascal Siakam, Chris Bosh, and off my bench, I'll have Fred VanVleet, DeMar DeRozan, and Serge Ibaka. Riker, you go ahead, list your squad.
I have it written down on a little notepad here. Lowry, Vince, Kawhi, Bosh, Gasol, 1 through 5. Lou Will is my sixth man, and Damon Stoudemire and Pascal Siakam coming off the bench.
So you guys heard it here. List your all-time best rosters, peak players in the comment section below. We want to hear what you guys think. Who won this debate? Whose team would win in a 7-game series just in the NBA Finals if they faced off against each other? We want to hear from you guys. You're the best for making this far. Check out the Twitter, the Instagram, all that cool stuff. Riker, have any last words before my team destroys your squad?
That's maybe what you said to yourself in the mirror this morning before you woke up actually and lost to my team. So thanks.
My name's not your name, Riker.